Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here, guys. Now, as you can see from the title of today's video, I want to share my thoughts on 7 fragrances from the brand called My Perfumes. All of these fragrances were kindly sent to me by the team from Dubai Collection, so thank you so much to the team from Dubai Collection. But this video is not sponsored, you guys. I'm not paid to say anything in specific about any of these fragrances. They were sent to me for reviewing purposes, I think. So like I've mentioned, I have 7 fragrances here. I will let you know how they smell like, how they develop, if they remind me of other fragrances, if I think they are worth it, who I feel like would enjoy them, and yeah. Now you guys, in case you haven't heard of My Perfumes, most likely you have heard of another brand called Arabiat. If you have been into the Middle Eastern fragrance part, let's just say, of the fragrance community in the last few years, let's just say, most likely you have heard already of a fragrance called Oud Al-Lail. That fragrance, I will add a photo with the bottle. That fragrance, I feel like it's safe to say, a few years ago actually broke the internet. Everybody was talking about how bespoke that fragrance was, how strong that fragrance was, how it would last for an eternity and a half. So yeah, most likely you have already heard of at least a fragrance from this brand so far. But in case you haven't heard of this brand at all, basically you guys, My Perfume is a group that has more sub-brands to it, just like Lattafa has different sub-brands like Asdaf and a few others under them. Same goes for My Perfumes. They were founded in 1993, you guys. So last year they have celebrated 30 years since they have been in the fragrance industry, in the fragrance market. It's crazy, you guys. This brand is much older than me actually, so yeah. And under, let's just say, the My Perfume umbrella, you have different sub-brands. So on one hand, you have the brand called Arabiat. The most popular fragrance, safe to say, it's Oud Al-Lail. And there's another one that I forgot the name, but I know it's made around tuberose, a grape-like accord, a little bit of vanilla, and a little bit of a soft woody accord. I forgot the name of the fragrance, but I will add the bottle here on the screen. So you have Arabiat under them. You also have a more premium luxury line that's called Arabiat Prestige. They have fragrances, let's just say, that are a little bit more luxurious, from the presentation to the scent and everything. But you also have very affordable fragrances under this brand. Basically, you guys, from what I saw and from the little research that I did on this brand, this is all about affordability. They want to create fragrances that are very affordable, and they cater to different tastes/needs for different fragrance lovers, you know. Also under them, you have a brand called Oturi. I have actually some fragrances from Oturi that I will talk about in today's video. Again, if you hear me with a lisp, it's because yesterday I went and I got my braces activated for this month. Safe to say, you guys, I'm in so much pain at the moment, but it's okay, like the show must go on, you know. Yeah, you have Oturi, and also I saw I don't know why I find it very funny, but they have 2 brands that are inspired, I guess you could say, by football teams. I saw on their website, because I actually read a little bit about them on their website. They have a brand called Barcelona and a brand called Liverpool, and I think their fragrances, not only that they are inspired by football teams, but they cater to men, basically. Yeah, you guys. So before I actually go into the reviewing part of the video, I just want to let you know this. If you are based in the European Union, if you are based in the USA, in the UK, or in Switzerland, and you would like to shop full bottles of decants of My Perfumes fragrances or fragrances from Arabiat, Oturi, Arabiat Prestige and many other brands. You can do so on the buy collection. You can use my discount code, you cannot use it, it's always up to you, but in case you want to shop, just so you know, they have offered my viewers a discount code, a 10% off discount code. So before it was a 5% off, now it's a 10% off. So with that out of the way, let's just start, you guys. I will start with the Musk Taher line. Let me show you the presentation for Musk Taher Powdery. Now you saw the presentation for Musk Taher Powder, you guys. Safe to say it's such a beautiful presentation, and this fragrance is extremely affordable. It's under, look, so in Romanian we have lei currency, so I always have to like do the conversion into euros. 20 euros? Not even 20 euros. Before I actually tell you how this fragrance smells like, let me just say this. From testing these two fragrances and from looking a little bit into the line and everything like this line was created for the lovers of Musk Taher. If you are familiar with Musk Taher, you already know what it is, how it smells like, how to apply it and everything like this. But if you're not familiar with Musk Taher, basically Musk Taher, from what I saw and from what I've tried, but I've only tried one, so keep this aspect in mind, it's not really an oil, but it has the same thickness and richness of an oil, and you apply it just like an oil, but like consistency wise, it's not oily, it's not an oil, but it's a very thick and dense kind of liquid. You can apply it on your dry skin, you can apply it on slightly damp skin, not like dripping wet, but slightly damp. A little bit goes a very long way. You can use it alone, you can use it layered with different body lotions, with different fragrances. You can also use it as a base to layer other fresh, clean, your skin but better kind of fragrances on top of it. So if you are a lover of clean, bright, fresh and clean smelling perfumes, this again, I wanted to call it an oil. It's not really an oil, but this product could really come in handy in your fragrance collection. Now, why I said that to me this collection with 6 fragrances in total was created for the lovers of Musk Taher is because you have here different twists on the same DNA of Musk Taher. So basically you have the OG DNA of Musk Taher with few different twists. This one, for instance, is with an emphasis on the powdery accord. The next one I will talk about, Musk Taher Peach, is with an emphasis on the peach. You also have Musk Taher Oud, Musk Taher Candy, Musk Taher Oud, and Musk Taher Rumam, I think, but I'm not really sure. Yeah, let's just start with the powdery one. So this opens up with that DNA of Musk Taher, like I've mentioned, with an emphasis on the powdery accord. So think the same DNA of Musk Taher. If you have never smelled Musk Taher, to me smells like baby powder from Johnson & Johnson, like you were to dip your face into tons of baby powder. So it's very powdery, a little bit sweet, but it's that specific sweetness from that Johnson & Johnson baby powder with something that smells like a clean laundry detergent. You know, you have here different shades of clean, different accords that all together contribute to the overall sensation of cleanness. Yes. This opens up with a lot of powder, you guys. This is made around the powdery accord. The powdery accord feels very dense, but it's that specific baby powder style of accord. On my skin, besides this very pronounced baby powder accord, I also detect some powdery florals that in the opening, it can add to the fragrance a slight vintage touch in a sense, but not vintage, think fragrances from the 80s, from the 70s, from the 90s, you know, not that kind of vintage. It's just the way the florals are done here with that very emphasized powdery accord that for a few seconds in the opening can give a slight vintage undertone to the fragrance. To me, I detect something like purple flowers. I don't know why in my mind it's like violet or lilacs. Violet or lilacs in the opening. In the dry down, I detect a lot of lilac. I don't know if it's listed or not. I'm telling you how I experience this fragrance myself. So the opening is very powdery, very dense, quite dry because of the powderiness. However, you do get a slight airiness throughout the scent composition, so I cannot say that it's suffocating in a sense, but this is a heavy fragrance, you guys. To think to think that this was created around the musk accord and how heavy it is and how, I wanted to say cloying, but it's not cloying again in a negative way. It's just the scent envelops you everywhere. So unless you are a lover, like a true lover of this DNA, for the majority of people, it might be a little bit too much. However, if you're one who loves musk in your fragrances or musks, or if you are one who appreciates powdery accords, or if you are one who loves the DNA of Musk Taher, this fragrance was created for you. Not for me, because I'm usually not a fan of this kind of fragrances on myself, even though I can appreciate them on someone else, but this was created for the lovers of Musk Taher. Now, I will describe you how it smells in the dry down. It reaches, let's just say, or it follows a direction that I was not expecting a fragrance that's called Musk Taher Powdery to follow, in a sense. To me, in the dry down, it still maintains this very emphasized baby powder accord, but now I detect a lot of lilacs. I don't know again if it's listed, if it's not listed, but I detect a purple flower, not very dark, very, in a sense, gentle and very feminine and relaxing kind of purple flower. And I don't know why I smell lilacs, but you know how it smells like to me, you guys. Are you familiar with the kind of frankincense that is burned in Orthodox churches or Orthodox monasteries? I hope I pronounced the word right. Now, if you are familiar, you know that in Orthodox churches and or monasteries, they do not burn actual frankincense, just like the resin itself. You know that they purchase the resin and they put it in a powdered coating, and in that powder coating they infuse it with different scents, for instance, either with rose, either with lilacs, either with different blends made for church, I don't know, with like religious names in a way, you know. To me, this smells like you just purchased a packet of frankincense with the scent of lilacs. You just open the package, you dip your nose to smell the frankincense, and you are left with a little bit of that white powdered coating. This smells like that white powder coating around the frankincense in a way. So to me, it smells a little bit incensey, but not incensey in a sense that it smells like ashy. Doesn't smell like incense sticks, doesn't smell like actual frankincense that's burning. You know, it's not a warm resinous accord with a slight fumé or smoky undertone. It's not ashy at all. It smells like the frankincense for Orthodox churches that hasn't been lit yet, infused with lilac essence or something like this. This is how it smells like to me. Like if you have ever smelled something like this, I'm sure you will get the resemblance. So as the fragrance develops, it goes in a very different direction than how it smelled in the opening. If in the opening it smelled just like baby powder, with some powdery florals, with again different shades of clean, different facets of clean and powdery, to me in the dry down, especially in the last bit of the dry down, the fragrance goes into such a beautiful territory, let's just say. And it's definitely not your boring, simplistic, musky fragrance. This can be a lot of things, but boring, you guys. This is not a boring fragrance. Now, with this in mind, is this a safe blind buy? I don't know. For someone like me, it's not, because I'm not really one who can easily wear this kind of fragrances. And I'm not one who can wear easily either florals or very powdery fragrances. Let's just say that my comfort zone is in a very different scent family. However, if you are one who appreciates this kind of scent profiles, test it, you guys, test it, especially if you love the DNA of Musk Taher and you wanted something that smells extremely similar to Musk Taher, but with the twist that I have described it to you. Test this fragrance, let me know how you feel about it. Let's move on to the next fragrance, because I don't want this video to be too long. So Musk Taher Peach, you guys, follows, like I've mentioned, the same direction of Musk Taher, but with a fruity accord added. But the fruity accord only gets a chance to truly shine from the heart, or let's just say especially in the heart, because in the dry down it goes back into the Musk Taher DNA. Now this opens up same Musk Taher DNA that you had in Musk Taher Powdery, but now in a sense you have two accords that both in a sense fight a little bit to be the main accord that you detect. On one hand, I do detect the peach. The peach in the opening feels a little bit cold, but it's that peachy iced tea kind of accord. So it's slightly more subtle, not very sweet, not very tangy. It's not a very emphasized or very multifaceted peach accord, but in a sense it smells like peach iced tea. But in the opening, you don't actually get to fully detect the peach accord, because in the opening you also have that powdery, like that baby powder, mixed with a clean laundry detergent, mixed with something clean and airy that's specific to the DNA of Musk Taher. So in the opening you get the powderiness just as much as you get the peach, if not a little bit more, because the peach, in a sense, you smell it. The peach sits behind this very pronounced musky accord. However, as this fragrance actually gets a chance to develop here on paper as well as on your skin, let's just say the scent direction changes a little bit, and from smelling like a very strong Musk Taher in the opening with an added peach accord but deep in the background, in a sense, so like I've mentioned, you get the peachy facets through that powdery coating. In the heart, the peach wins, and as the peachy accord starts to get more and more pronounced, like I've mentioned, in the hard part, the texture of the fragrance changes a little bit. So from feeling very powdery, dusty, at the same time it feels much more rounded, in a sense, much smoother, much more full-bodied in a way, because the peach moved forward now that peachy iced tea quality really gets a chance to shine. But it's not, when I mean iced tea, I mean the drink, you know, not necessarily that it feels iced or cold, because it doesn't feel cold to my nose, quite the opposite. To me it feels very warm in the heart. Yeah, now in the dry down you go back to the DNA of Musk Taher. Slowly but surely the peach accord will tone down more and more until you will lose it completely, and you get back to that baby powder accord specific to Musk Taher, but now it feels actually a little bit airier, a little bit fresher, not blue fresh, just like a clean, fresh, kind of fresh accord, you know. This is how this fragrance smells like. To me, what they created here, let's just say they took again the DNA of Musk Taher, but they added a very light-hearted fruity touch from the peach. So in a sense it feels just like more light-hearted. This feels also a little bit more youthful. Let's just say this one, if you are younger and you love the DNA of Musk Taher, bottom line for both of these fragrances, you need to be familiar or you need to love the DNA of Musk Taher. But no, you just need to be familiar with the DNA of Musk Taher. If you love it, you will love both of these fragrances. If you don't love it, you might struggle a little bit with both of these fragrances. But as a bottom line, for the lovers of Musk Taher, don't miss out on this collection. Definitely start with some decants and let me know what you think about them. So let's move on to the next fragrances. You know what? Let's talk about a fragrance that the first time I tried it, I will be very honest, you guys, I didn't like it at all. And I will tell you why. And what I did, I looked at the batch. I saw the batch was very recent. As a reference, you guys, I received these fragrances somewhere in June, I think. Or was it July? No, I feel like it was June actually. And the batch of this fragrance was from May. So it was a very recent batch. Back then I did 10-15 sprays on the balcony and then I just let this one sit. And this evolved in such a way, you guys. However, because of the experience that I had with this fragrance when I just smelled it for the first time, I'm not really sure if this is the safest one out there, but this is definitely the edgiest one. And this, you guys, this is a statement fragrance. Like, this is a true statement fragrance. Now let's move on to the next fragrance and let me show you the presentation of this fragrance. Let me tell you what my issue was with this fragrance. See, now it's very different, but okay, let me just tell you. So the first time I smelled it, I actually played on my skin. Ooh. This scent is so projecting, you guys, it got in my mouth and it doesn't taste that well. So let me tell you, a while ago when I tried it for the first time, I sprayed it on my skin. I was testing a lot of these fragrances. I smelled it. First few seconds I was like, oh my god, it smells so good. This is like an alien with a very pronounced like green accord in the background. And then the green accord, you guys, was so camphorous. The camphor, I don't know again if it has listed the camphor accord. Camphorous? Camphor. If it doesn't, but I'm telling you, in the opening, it was not even in the first few seconds from spraying it on my skin. Let's just say 30 seconds. That's the accord that dominated this fragrance, and from that moment on, unfortunately, this fragrance on my skin smelled like naphthalene. You know the smell of naphthalene. And then, you know, as I was smelling this fragrance, I felt very I don't know, in a sense I was shocked because of how beautiful the opening was and how quickly it smelled like naphthalene. Like I've mentioned, I did 10-15 sprays. Honestly, I haven't even counted. I was just like on my balcony, like, you know. And then I put this fragrance in its box. I put it in here behind me where I keep my fragrances, and I just let it sit. And when I knew I wanted to film this video, I actually started to test all of these fragrances again. And you guys, this fragrance has changed in such a way. Oh my god, I cannot believe that this is the same fragrance that I have smelled a while ago, and it smelled like mothballs, honestly. Again, you guys, with some illicit fragrances, you just need to let them sit. Like I've mentioned, some never change, some do. This is just the unfortunate case, you know, it depends on luck, on your skin pH. I have no idea what this depends on the batch, who knows, you guys, but some fragrances just need to sit a little bit. Now, before I tell you how it smells like, let me tell you the kind of fragrances I would put this one in the same category with. First things first, if you're a lover of Alien, think of this. This has the same bewitching nighttime like jasmine accord that Alien has as well. It's not the jasmine accord that feels very delicate and breezy and feminine and gentle. No, you guys, this is a bold jasmine accord. This is a jasmine accord that exudes this beautiful, bewitching, mysterious, almost enchanting quality about it. This is the same jasmine that you have in Alien, a very similar jasmine. I can't say it's the same because it's more similar to the jasmine you have in Alien, but it gives me the same bewitching quality, just like the jasmine used in Jasmin Noir from Bulgari, just like the jasmine used in Tulip Noir from Atkinson's, just like the jasmine used in Musk Mysterio, again from Mugler, just like the jasmine used in Orchid Prairie from Rassasi. If I were to put this fragrance into a family, let's just say, these fragrances would be his or her cousins. Her cousins, I don't know. These fragrances would be her cousins. I do think you need to have an acquired taste to appreciate something like this, not even because of the camphor in the opening, because the camphor now, you guys, is just deep in the background to give this darkness about this fragrance. And let me actually describe how this fragrance smells like. So this opens up. Let me actually spray it again so I can get the opening, because I just smelled it and talk about something completely different. This opens up with a jasmine accord, very similar to Alien, so it's not, like I've mentioned, bright and dainty and pretty, no. It's bold, it's dark, it's a nighttime jasmine. It's very intoxicating, it feels mysterious, it feels bewitching. It's that kind of like a witchy style of jasmine to me. And with a green accord. Green, now you guys, to me, think something sage-like with a little bit of camphor. It's not even just... You know what this fragrance reminds me a lot, now that I'm smelling, of Opulent Red from Lattafa. Not the similar, not the same exact DNA in a sense, but that green accord, yeah, think that green accord. So you have this alien-like jasmine with a green sage accord, with a little bit of camphor, something powdery and a gentle but very dry woody accord in the background that adds again a little bit of darkness to the fragrance. This is not a light fragrance, this is quite dark, quite deep, quite mysterious, definitely an acquired taste, definitely a statement fragrance, quite a love or hate kind of fragrance as well. This is not the kind of fragrance that you just blind buy it, no. You need to have an acquired taste. I've told you, if you love fragrances like Opulent Red, if you love fragrances like Alien, Orchid Prairie, Jasmin Noir, Tulip Noir from Atkinson's, if you love fragrances like Musk Mysterio from Mugler, this fragrance can feel challenging just like all these fragrances that I have mentioned so far. So naturally, if you have a taste for these kind of fragrances, you can rock something like this without feeling like it will overpower you. You will wear the fragrance and not the other way around, in a sense, you know. However, if you shy away from these kind of fragrances, if you shy away from very heavy, dark, floral forward fragrances, but the floral here is done right, you guys. Again, it's a nighttime jasmine, it feels very bewitching, and as the fragrance develops, you have here a beautiful vanilla accord that starts to shine. And when I mean it starts to shine, it doesn't shine so much that it makes this fragrance feel gourmand. However, what it does to me, it rounds up a little bit the scent and it makes it it almost adds a very muted creaminess in a sense, and again, not creamy in a gourmand way, creamy just in the sense that it makes the fragrance feel very round around the edges. But the jasmine is the star of the show from the opening till the dry down. It's just as the fragrance develops, to me it goes a little bit sweeter at the same time, whereas in the opening it was the jasmine that dominated the opening with the green accord, something sage-like with something camphorous-like. This is not the kind of fragrance that was created to be liked by everyone. I appreciate this kind of fragrances. I have a soft spot for fragrances that are not afraid to be bold, that are not afraid to be loud, that are not afraid to shine. This fragrance shines, but it's not a safe blind buy. I will be very honest, it's a love or hate, and it's like the lottery, you know, it's just like with lottery. You never know, you might win, you might not win, you know. I feel like it's the same way with this fragrance. This is why, please start with a sample. And also, by the way, if you have tried this fragrance, let me know if you are struggling with the opening. Let me know how you feel about the fragrance. Let me know if you can wear it easily. Let me know if you have, by the way, if you know if this is an inspiration of anything in particular, how unbothered this fragrance is. In a sense, this is so loud and so low-key obnoxious and intrusive, but it has, again, this beautiful, intoxicating and witchy. This is a witchy fragrance to me. A witch in a good way, you know, not a witch in a bad way. A witch in a good way, but it's very witchy. Let's continue with something a little bit more lighthearted and fun, because I spoke about fragrances that were quite edgy and unapologetic, you know. Let's move on to Red Passion. If the previous fragrances, like I've mentioned, were pretty unapologetic fragrances, each in its own category, but they were very multifaceted and edgy, definitely, this is the kind of fragrance that you could easily blind buy it as a gift for someone in your life, because that person definitely will enjoy it and wear it. There's not really much to not enjoy about this fragrance, so from this perspective, it's definitely safer than the previous ones. It's not as edgy or loud or unapologetic. This, to me, let me just tell you something. This, I don't know exactly what is from this fragrance, but the moment I first smelled it, it reminded me of three fragrances. First of all, it reminded me of a body spray from Bath & Body Works, Gingham Gorgeous, I think it's called. My best friend has it, and every time I go to her place, I don't know about other people and how, but you guys, I'm the kind of person, when I go to my friends' places, I always smell their fragrances, even though I have smelled the same fragrances, again, countless times prior, but I don't know why, I always smell the fragrances once again. And this fragrance reminded me a lot of Gingham Gorgeous. I hope this is how you pronounce it. Gingham, I think, from Bath & Body Works. And Gingham Gorgeous from Bath & Body Works, when I smelled it back then at her place, it reminded me of Air and Juicy Apple from Kayali and the fragrance from Khatlaj, Aura Kiss of Rose. So I will tell you this, if you love fragrances like Gingham Gorgeous, Air and Juicy Apple from Kayali and Aura Kiss of Rose, Red Passion is the kind of fragrance that you could easily blind buy it because you will wear it. To me, this has a quality, this has a body spray like quality, and not in a negative way, in a sense that it feels cheap or anything like this, no, but in a sense that it feels very light-hearted and simplistic and fun and easy to wear. That kind of no-brainer kind of fragrance, you know, that very casual fragrance. You could reach for it with your eyes closed. You could wear this one when you do the groceries, when you go to work in an office, when you go to the gym, you know, when you go to a walk in a park, when you run some errands. This is the kind of fragrance. It smells chic, it smells feminine, very light-hearted, very simplistic, very playful, and that's it, you guys. Now, let me tell you how it smells like notes-wise. So to me, this opens up with a burst of freshness, but a fruity freshness. To me, the freshness comes from a green apple accord. Maybe this is the resemblance I get to Kayali's fragrance and to that one from Bath & Body Works. Smells like a freshly cut green apple. You get that crisp freshness, that bright, airy freshness from the green apple. You have it here as well, but you also have here an added citrusy touch that emphasizes even more that fresh element in the opening. To me, the citrusy accord, like a fusion between something like a lemon with a bergamot, that kind of citrus accord. Slightly sweet, slightly sour, slightly acidic in a sense, but it's not refreshing by any means. It's not a citrus accord that leans very masculine. Quite the contrary. To me, the citrus accord here just adds a more invigorating, refreshing feminine touch without actually being refreshing, quote unquote, you know. So you have this very fruity, citrusy opening with something, I don't know why I detect rose in this fragrance. Rose and jasmine, but the jasmine is not the very mysterious nighttime or indolic or anything like this. To me, the jasmine here with your airy, breezy, light, and again, very easy to enjoy kind of jasmine that just adds a breezy quality throughout the scent composition, but it's that specific breezy quality that comes from a floral accord, you know, with a beautiful powdery musk. I also detect a little bit of rose. To me, this fragrance smells like a fusion between red and pink for some reason. Yeah, the rose, again, it's a very gentle and delicate rose accord in the background. You don't need to love rose in fragrances to enjoy this fragrance. You could easily wear this fragrance even if you're not the biggest fan of rose, because to me, the rose is not the center piece of this fragrance. This fragrance is not made around a rosy accord. To me, this fragrance is made around a fruity accord with some gentle floral accents, some musky powdery facets, perhaps a very gentle dry woodsy accord in the background. But again, that specific dry woodsy accord that you have in a lot of designer fragrances catered towards women. So it's not a challenging woody accord. It's not a woody accord that feels particularly robust or heavy or nuanced by any means. It's just a pinch there, you know, to give a little bit of depth to the fragrance. And I also detect blackcurrant, you guys. You know how blackcurrant in fragrances can feel? It can feel like a fruity accord with a slight tangy green facet. I detect this fruity accord here as well. It's just slightly sweet, slightly fresh, but fresh from a fruity accord, a fruity freshness, slightly vanillic, slightly powdery, slightly woody, slightly floral, slightly tangy, slightly zingy in a sense. But for me, the zinginess was more in the opening. As the fragrance develops, again, it has an underlying creaminess about it. But not cream, think nebras, not that kind of gourmand creaminess. It's just a creaminess in a sense that the fragrance, again, starts to feel very round, because as you start to lose that very pronounced zingy, citrusy quality or kick that you had in the opening that made the fragrance feel very vibrant, in a sense, quite explosive, because usually this is what the citrus accord adds to the opening, at least to my nose. Yes, it can add a refreshing quality, it can add a slight sweetness, but it makes the opening feel very, you know, like explosive in a way. So as you start to lose this citrusy kick and as the fragrance gets a chance to develop, the fragrance goes overall much rounder. And yes, it does evolve. It's not a linear fragrance. However, you guys, from testing this fragrance and from wearing it, I have actually worn this fragrance myself, it's not a crazy development, you know. This is why, to me, if you are looking for a very affordable fragrance in a scent family very similar to Gingham Gorgeous from Bath & Body Works, Air Juicy Apple from Kayali, and Aura Kiss of Rose from Khadlaj, this is the fragrance. If you love those fragrances, I can almost guarantee you will love this one as well. And the opposite, if you do not enjoy those fragrances at all, maybe you will find other fragrances from this video that you will enjoy. So let's continue with the more light-hearted fragrances, and now we'll leave the one that's a little bit more edgy as well at the end of the video. Let's continue with a fragrance that's called Iighra. I think this is how you pronounce it, I'm not sure. Again, let me show you the beautiful presentation of this fragrance right about now. This fragrance, this is an interesting fragrance. It has something in the opening, I cannot pinpoint what it is, but deep behind this accord, it has some resemblances to the DNA of Madawi from Arabian Oud. And there's one from Ahmed Al Maghribi, I forgot the name of that fragrance. That is a Madawi, but like on steroids, with an emphasis on the Middle Eastern accords. And again, to a fragrance from Hamidi called, it's an oil from Hamidi. I actually filmed a video on that oil. I completely forgot the name, like my mind just went blank. I don't know the name, but I will add the fragrance here anyways. So behind this accord in the opening, you do get some similar chords that ties this fragrance to all the other fragrances that I have mentioned. However, I don't feel like this was created as an inspiration to Arabian Oud by any means, because to me it doesn't follow the exact same opening, heart and development and dry down, you know, but it has something. So this to me again opens up with that burst of freshness that comes from the green apple. But to me this fragrance has a more emphasized green accord in a sense. Green from the green apple, a little bit of patchouli, yellow. I don't know why I smell something like pineapple, especially in the opening. Pineapple and a citrus kick. Let me get the opening as well. But in the opening I also detect a floral accord that I'm not really the biggest fan of, but luckily it fades away pretty fast. Yeah, see, in the opening I detect the same burst of freshness from that green apple accord with something citrusy, bergamot. Something like bergamot to me, because it's not as acidic as lemon and it's sweet and sour in a sense. And I don't know why I detect a yellow fruity accord. I'm guessing it's pineapple. I might be completely wrong, but it has this abstract yellow fruity accord as well. But it has a floral overtone in a sense that suffocates a little bit these other notes. This floral accord, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but then again, I'm not a floral lover, you guys. Keep in mind, I am not a floral lover in general. I am very picky with the kind of florals I wear because, like I've mentioned plenty of times, my fragrance taste is very different, you know, than this. Some florals I can pull them off, especially if they are not too indolic or too floral in a way, you know. But see, as it develops, I don't know why I start to get a lot of resemblances to Madao. It has the same freshness from the green apple with a gentle patchouli touch in the dry down, a little bit of vanilla, but the slightest, softest bit of vanilla, just to give a little bit of sweetness and to make the composition feel a little bit more rounder. You know, with a very abstract yellow fruity accord. This is how it smells like to me. Also some gentle floral facets as it starts to develop, perhaps a little bit of jasmine. I don't know, you guys. This is how this fragrance smells like. If you want something with some similarities to Madawi from Arabian Oud, to that fragrance from Ahmed Al Maghribi that has similarities to Madawi. I genuinely forgot the name of that fragrance. Oh my god, how was that fragrance called? I don't know. But think of this, you take those hints from Madawi that I told you, but you add a lot of florals into the mix and you make it more daytime appropriate, and the emphasis is on the florals as well here, not just on the fruity facets and on the patchouli and the vanilla and the musk. But you have the same powdery musk here as well. Yeah, now subjectively I wouldn't wear this fragrance myself. Objectively it's a beautiful fragrance if you have a taste for florals with some fruity musky hints. Again, this could be a pretty safe blind buy as a gift for someone in your life. You have a sister or for your mother, because this feels pretty timeless, you guys. It doesn't feel like the kind of fragrance that only teenagers could wear or only, I don't know, like mature women could pull it off. To me, this feels pretty timeless. Yeah. But I don't know why between this one and Malikat al Hub, I actually much more prefer Malikat al Hub, but maybe have a soft spot for this fragrance or for this scent DNA in general, because yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. Look, this is a more radiating floral that exudes femininity. It has resemblances to a lot of different fragrances, and this to me is a little bit more serious and fruity, but not fruity in a very like uplifting and playful and I don't know, fun way. Fruity in a sense. It's a more serious fruity accord mixed with the florals. Now let's move on to the next fragrance. Let's move on to Malikat al Hub. This is such a beautiful fragrance. Look, as someone who's not a floral lover, this is a floral fragrance that I could definitely wear myself. I have worn it myself. I can definitely see myself wearing it. This is a floral that it's more, this is a radiating floral, you guys. This fragrance exudes femininity. It's such a beautiful, but like a very radiating femininity, elegant at the same time, but not elegant in a serious or rigid manner, you know. It's elegant in such like a effortlessly feminine, chic, sophisticated manner in a sense. This is the vibe of this fragrance. So this opens up, you guys, with a beautiful citrusy accord, I detect your lemon. It has the zinginess of lemon, that slight acidity, you know, that gives a lot of lift to the opening and makes it feel very vibrant in a sense. However, not too much to the point where it smells like a lemonade. I detect lemons. Again, I detect green apple here. A bright, very eerie kind of green apple freshness with beautiful florals, you guys. This is like a bouquet of different florals in a sense. I detect a lot of white florals, but I also detect your peony. I don't know if it has listed peony. However, I detect a gentle pink floral that feels very romantic, feels very radiating. Look, if you wanted to purchase a gift for anyone in your life, be it your girlfriend, be it your mother, be it your sister, your auntie, your cousin, your female friends, co-workers, your boss, I don't know, if you wanted to purchase a gift and you want a fragrance that just exudes femininity, purchase this fragrance, you guys. This is such a beautiful fragrance. I genuinely cannot find a single complaint about this fragrance. Oh, this is so beautiful. You get, like I've mentioned, you get the opening with the green apple and with the gentle lemon facet. Then you get the peony or something very similar to peonies, because it smells pink and romantic and gentle. This fragrance, it feels very delicate and suave, and not delicate and suave in a sense that you cannot smell it on your skin. No, just delicate and suave in the sense that it exudes this beautiful, gentle, suave and feminine energy about it. To me, like I've mentioned in the review, not the review, this is the review. Like I've mentioned in a previous video where I talked about this fragrance, if I were to say what kind of fragrance is this one reminds me of, so take the beautiful floral bouquet, the white floral bouquet from My Way by Giorgio Armani and from L'Interdit by Givenchy. I feel like compared to My Way, it's less sweet. To me, My Way, yes, you have the floral bouquet, but you have a very pronounced vanilla accord that shines a lot in that fragrance as well, with that gentle woody accord in the background. To me, this is not as sweet, definitely not as sweet as My Way. And also, it's not the kind of floral accord that leans bubblegum like you have in L'Interdit by Givenchy. This is not a bubblegummy tuberose, or this is not the kind of floral accord that leans sweet in that direction. But to me, you have this very modern white floral accord, similar to these two fragrances, like energy-wise similar, with something from Chanel Chanson Tendre. Again, I don't know why I get the resemblance to Chanel Chanson Tendre energy-wise. And to Sensuous Night from Khatlaj, you guys. So if you have a taste for this kind of fragrances, or if you wanted to purchase a fragrance that embodies the same energy, just like all these fragrances mentioned, this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Malikat al Hub, definitely try it. Again, this is not a challenging fragrance. This is not a challenging fragrance, you guys, at all. This is such a beautiful and radiating fruity, floral, musky fragrance with a little bit of vanilla, and again the most gentle dry woody accord in the background that just adds a little bit of, not even darkness, because this is not a dark fragrance. This is very airy and breezy, but again airy and breezy from the florals, from the fresh fruity facets here. The woody accord to me just adds a little bit of complexity. In a sense, it holds all these notes together, you know. Now let me tell you how this fragrance smells like once it gets a chance to develop, and as it gets, let's just say, closer to the dry down, because this fragrance, even though it's a very simplistic and effortlessly feminine fragrance, is not a linear fragrance, you guys. To me, you lose slowly but surely the green apple freshness. You lose some of that citrusy, zesty kick in the opening, and let's just say you start to lose a little bit of this breezy, airy and very light and bright quality to the fragrance. The vanilla starts to shine a little bit more, and the fragrance itself gets a little bit denser and rounder, and to me it smells like a floral bouquet with a variety of different florals. Again, a little bit of jasmine, a little bit of tuberose, perhaps some peonies there, I don't know, but it's a very gentle and romantic style of peony that just exudes femininity with a gentle peachy-like facet. And I was not expecting to smell the peach, and I was very surprised when I was smelling it on my skin. Here I have to say the peach doesn't shine as much, but especially on my skin, as I was like smelling this fragrance and I was like writing my thoughts about this fragrance, when it got to the dry down, I kept smelling the fragrance and I was like, is this the fragrance? Because it starts to go very, in a sense, dense, round, full, not indolic, not a very heavy floral. The florals still feel very effortlessly feminine and chic and sophisticated, but now you have this beautiful added peachy undertone, and in a sense it almost feels like you smell the floral bouquet but with the stem, because you start to get a little bit of greenness as well to this fragrance. That specific greenness that comes from the flower stem, so it's slightly raw, very clean style of greenness. However, it's not as accentuated as, for instance, that raw green facet from Delina or from all the inspirations from Delina. To me, it's definitely more gentle, more muted in the background. Yeah, this is how the fragrance smells like. Now let's move on to the last fragrance for today's video. Let me talk a little bit about the next fragrance called Jazeera. Now this, you guys, for this one I have actually looked up the notes. For some I have because I've prepared already my notes pop-up. For some I haven't because I haven't prepared yet the notes pop-up, you know. To me, one thing, don't really get so stuck up on the notes breakdown. To me, this smells very different than how you would picture this fragrance to smell based on the notes breakdown. To me, you guys, this opens up with a crisp, clean rose accord. The rose accord, it doesn't feel, in a sense, it feels very rich and full-bodied, yet it doesn't lean truly Middle Eastern. It's almost like you smell in your garden like a lot of roses after the rain, with the greenness, you know, with that after the rain vegetation like greenness. It has the same raw green opening with the rose, and also with a very pronounced peppery accord. To me, pink pepper, because it feels very vibrant and energizing, and it adds this very layered and crisp, clean, in a sense, spicy nuance in the opening, and it complements very well the rose bouquet, because it, in a sense, it emphasizes even more that raw greenness of the rose accord. But when I mean raw greenness of the rose, don't think the same raw green that you get in fragrances like Delina. To me, no, to me it's very different. To me, think of rose plus geranium. If you have smelled fragrances where you have a rose accord paired with a geranium accord, you know the rose has this beautiful steamy green, or like after the rain vegetation like green accord, yet the rose feels not very dainty and pretty and girly and effortless. No, the rose feels quite imposing, quite powerful, quite a statement kind of rose, even though it's not a dark, like it's not that deep red wine kind of rose. In a sense, it's a pink rose, but it's a pink rose with an edge, and like I've mentioned, that peppery facet emphasizes even more this after the rain vegetation like smell. To me, if I were to put this fragrance, let's say next to a few other fragrances that are somehow similar to this, first things first, you have a fragrance from Paris Corner that's called L'Heure d'Espoir Arena, I think. Was it Arena? Yeah, I think Arena. But I say, compared to that fragrance, I will let Summer over here the fragrance. This is a tad brighter. I think the same DNA, the same after the rain, raw green vegetation smell. But that has an added earthy emphasis. Here I don't detect that earthy aspect, more like the vegetation, not earthy soil-like, you know? Yeah. And also, I get some resemblances, especially how the rose is done. I get certain resemblances to Club de Nuit for women from Armaf. Yeah, so if you have a taste for this kind of fragrances, think of Jazeera as a brighter, as a daytime version of those fragrances. Why I mean brighter is because, to my nose, this fragrance lacks that very pronounced earthy soil-like quality that comes from patchouli in both of these fragrances. So you have the same green rose, that raw green rose with the stem. However, you have here, instead of an earthy soil-like, damp soil-like accord, you have that after the rain vegetation-like smell to me. And it just feels very crisp, very cold, very crisp. You know, this is why I'm like, it's after the rain, you go in your garden, you smell the roses. But it's during the daytime, because this is not a very dark fragrance. Yeah, look, to me, this, even though you look at the bottle and you think this is very like girly and dainty and cute, you guys, this has an edge to it. This has a statement quality to it. To me, this fragrance feels very elegant, very put together, definitely very serious. This is not the kind of fragrance that is all like laughters and giggles, you know. This is a fragrance that's elegant, that's serious, that's put together, that's very elegant, definitely very elegant. But not elegant like this, because this is elegant as well. But this is elegant, you guys, in a very effortlessly feminine way. This is elegant in a very like put together and serious way, you know, like the woman that would wear this, her energy is like very open, she's laughing, you know. Of course you could like dress it up, dress it down. This fragrance, to me this fragrance is very serious. So I would say this is, I don't know why, corporate environment, or when you just want to feel very like put together and classy in a sense. This fragrance smells classy, not in the sense that it smells classic like a timeless fragrance, but well, actually I guess it could be a timeless fragrance, you guys, because when I smell it I'm not like, oh, this takes me to that time frame in the fragrance world, or to the other, or to, you know. Yeah, but with this one I do think you need to appreciate more serious fragrances, not mature, because I don't find this leans mature. However, this is not a sweet fragrance, even though the notes might suggest something different. I remember this has listed a pear record, and that's about it from what I remember. But I genuinely remember the notes break down, and based only on the notes breakdown, you might expect this fragrance to be very sweet. I get no sweetness from this fragrance, not on paper, not on my skin. This is a crisp, sophisticated, elegant, serious fragrance for a serious woman who wants to be very put together. This is the energy this fragrance gives me. Definitely not very like bubbly and girly and radiating and fun and light-hearted and simplistic. This is a complex fragrance, but it's safe enough to wear on a day-to-day basis. And also this is elegant, you guys. I don't know, you need to be a little bit more dressy in your day-to-day life. This is not the kind of fragrance that would work, I don't know, with like sportswear or with like a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, because the rose, how the rose is done here, even though it's not a very dark and deep and grounding rose, but the rose here, especially because it has this crisp quality about it, it makes it feel very elegant. So unless you wear something elegant with this fragrance, in my mind, in my vision, it's like your outfit might clash or crash with this fragrance. Yeah, however, if you're one who loves elegant fragrances, and if you're looking for something, like I told you, that has similarities to Club de Nuit White from Armaf, certain similarities, and also has certain similarities to L'Or d'Espoir Arena from Paris Corner, Jazeera is the fragrance to test. Yeah. Oh my god, you guys, those were all the fragrances. I hope I will manage to make this video not feel like a 1 hour long video. I don't know, we will see. I have a lot of footage, over an hour. Oh my god, I speak so much. I speak so much, you guys, and every time I try to come here and be like, you know what, I will spend 3 minutes talking about each fragrance. I am back. I had to run downstairs because the courier came and I had to take off my mic and everything, so I'm not gonna put it back for the final part of the video. Thank you so much for watching again. Thank you to the team from the Dubai collection for sending me these fragrances to review them. You guys, I love to explore new fragrances, and even though, let's just say, the Musk Taher line is not necessarily a line that I would wear myself, but I still love to get to smell these kind of fragrances, you know, to get to the nitty-gritty details when it comes to various scent families, because truth is, I love to test not just fragrances that I would wear myself, but I like to see and I want to see the beauty even in fragrances that I wouldn't wear them myself. So without making this video any more long, thank you so much for watching. Again, don't forget, if you want to shop any Arabiat or My Perfumes or Autori or Arabiat Prestige, or yeah, I think that's about it, fragrances, you can do so on Dubai collection. Feel free to use my discount code, feel free to not use it. Thank you so much to the team from Dubai collection for sending me fragrances to review them, to test them. If you want to tell me anything, please put it in the comment section, and I promise that I will get back to you. I will see you in my next video, hopefully, but until then, I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye guys. Mwah.